Hello, in this experiment, we are tasked to configure and troubleshoot a switch network. Here is the topology of our network. We have an 1841 router, a 2960-24TT switch, two PCs, and a server. The IP addresses of the given devices are as follows. For R1, the interface F0/0 has an IP address of 172.17.99.1 with a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. It also operates at full duplex with a bandwidth of 100 Mbps. For our switch, here we can see here that the IP address of VLAN 1 is 172.17.99.11 with a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. For PC1, we have an IP address of 172.17.99.21 with a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. For PC2, we have an IP configuration. We have an IP address of 172.17.99.22 with a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. And finally, for our server, we have an IP address of 172.17.99.31 with a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. So to access the switch 1 from PC1, we connect a console wire from PC1 to switch 1's console. Then in PC1, we go to the terminal application, which brings us to the switch configuration setting. Here we are asked a password which is already configured into the switch. And for the exec mode, we also have a password. So another thing I did is to configure the current time. So to show the time, we use the command show clock. And here we can see that the time is almost the same as my time here. Another thing I did is to enable passwords for console, for exec mode, and for telnet access. To show all of these, we use show start. And here we can see that the device is service password encrypted. Here we can see the secret password, which is already encrypted before we activated a service password encryption. And here we can see that fast Ethernet 0/1, which is the port going to router 1, operates at full duplex with a speed of 100 Mbps. Another thing is in fast Ethernet 0/18, we can see that this port is has an activated port security which has a MAC address of 1, and it also operates at full duplex with 100 Mbps speed, same as Fast Ethernet 0/19, which is in full duplex with 100 Mbps connection, and Fast Ethernet 0/24, which is connected to our server, operates also at full duplex with 100 Mbps speed. Here we can see the banner that we saw earlier, which is authorized access only. And here is the console password, which is encrypted and same as telnet password. During the experiment, I performed port security to port F0/18, that it only has a maximum of 1 MAC address that is already at PC1. Here we can check the port security at F0/18. We can see that it is enabled, and here we can see that it has a maximum MAC address of 1. So to test this, we can disconnect this LAN cable and this one, connect PC2 to Fast Ethernet 0/18, and go to command prompt and try to ping switch 1. And here we can see that the connection turned red because PC2 has the wrong MAC address that is assigned to port F0/18. We can test this again by switching it back, by switching the copper cable to PC1 again. Here we can see that the connection is still red because we have to manually turn the status of this port to up. We can check it at show interface status. Here we can see that FA 0/18 is disabled because of the error. We can also check at show port security in F0/18. Here we can see that it is still enabled, and we can see that we have a violation due to connecting PC2 to F0/18. So to turn this back on, we go to configure terminal, interface F0/18, shutdown status, which disables the port. So then we can do no shutdown to enable it again. Here we can see that the connection turned green, and to further test it out, we can ping the switch. And here we can see that the ping is successful. Another thing I did we did was to disable the ports that isn't in use. To show all the ports, we can use the command show ipint brief, and here we can see that all the ports that are in use, like port F0/1 are up, F0/18 and F0/19 are up. Then the server port, which is F0/24, is up. All the other ports have been turned administratively down because I have disabled it manually. The last thing we did was to save the startup configuration to Nvram, and to achieve this, we use copy run start, and this saves the file to the Nvram of the switch. Now we can also save a copy of the startup configuration to the server. To do this, we use copy startup tftp. In here, it will ask for the IP address of our server. We can put it at 172.17.99.31. And here it will ask us for a file name. We can use s1 config. We can see that it has been saved. To check if it's saved in the server, we can go to the server services. We head to tftp, and here we can see that s1 start 1, s1 config is already saved in here. We can also see that the router configuration is already saved. Now in this laboratory experiment, we can see that various means to configure the router and switch, and to add security measures such as passwords, secret, console passwords, telnet passwords, and executive mode passwords. Another thing is we can also add a port security, which can limit the MAC address we can place inside the device, the MAC address that can use the port. So in conclusion, these features and functions help us to configure, manage, and to protect our network from various attacks.